Hi, welcome to the Sifu Mimi Chan Show. Thanks for joining the conversation. Hello. I had the pleasure of speaking with stars Koy and Lydia Gaston about their new film, Easter Sunday, opening on August 4th. In this love letter to his Filipino-American community, Joe stars as a struggling actor, comedian, and single father who returns home for an Easter celebration with his high energy and loving but challenging family, including his mom, brilliantly played by Lydia Gaston. I was grateful to have a short but impacting conversation with stars Joe and Lydia. They share inspiration behind their favorite scenes in the film and how meaningful it is to be positively representing the AAPI community. Since this was a film about family and especially highlights relationship with mothers, I invited my mom to join too, so welcome special guest host Susie Chan today. If you enjoy this interview, please share it and support me on Patreon. For comments or suggestions, reach out on social media at Sifu Mimi Chan. Now, on with the show. Hi, I'm Mimi Chan. I'm the host of the Sifu Mimi Chan Show podcast. So happy to have this opportunity to speak with you both. And this is my mommy, Susie.
Hi.
Hey, Susie. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
It's very, very exciting to be able to be here and also to bring my mom, because this, of course, was such a fun family film. As someone who actually was raised in an Asian American Catholic household, it really resonated on several levels.
Yes.
And I think one of the funniest parts of the film, there's so many to choose from, but of course, Joe, that's the homily. And my mom actually has a question for you about that.
Okay.
Okay. I enjoyed your so-called sermon. And I was wondering if it was totally scripted, or did you ad-lib, improvise, being a comedian yourself?
Oh, 100%. It was scripted, but then I went off the cuff for about 15 minutes.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Spoke from the heart. That meant a lot because, it's a real story also. So that's really, and I know for a fact that I'm not the only one that's going through that type of family drama, but, the truth is the best when you can let it out, project outward and let people hear it, because when they hear it and then they give you their feedback, you feel good about yourself, because then you're not the only one.
Right. When I watched it, I thought about it because it felt unscripted. It came out so natural, and all the things you talked about. So, Jay Chandrasekhar, the director, he knows that my stand-up is where this story is loosely based off of. So. That was that scene where we can give me an opportunity to perform, and we decided to do that at the church. Right.
Instead of put me somewhere on stage, that was the best spot.
Right.
Yeah, that was really great. And what my question, kind of as a follow-up to that, is, as someone who sat in several homilies in church and dazed off and kind of wondered, is that something that happened to you growing up, where you imagined yourself up there? And is that how you came up with that idea? Or I'm imagining that you've sat through many a homily as well that wasn't as exciting or as funny as yours was.
I mean, there's a special that I did called Lights Out.
Yes.
If you can watch it, it's on comedy, and it has a whole church scene where I talk about how my mom would discipline me during a sermon. So yeah, church was a big thing for me. Yes, every kid falls asleep during church, but most importantly, church was our community. It's the only chance that people that are like, immigrants, especially living in this country, the one way you feel like everyone's the same is at church, because we're all believing in the same faith, right? So it's the one time and the one moment, that 1 hour where everyone's like, okay, color doesn't matter because we all believe in Jesus, right? So that's where my mom felt the most secure, was at church, and that's where she found her Filipino community, and that's why Easter Sunday was the movie.
Yeah, 100%. We really enjoyed it. I think so many Asian American Pacific Islanders can relate to a lot of the themes in the film, not just the church scene, but just in particularly, I think, again, coming from that background is that family is a mess, but it's our mess. And Lydia, my question for you is how much of a stretch was it for you to really channel that Filipino mommy vibe? Because you did such a great job. And from the feud to your sister to, doting on the quote unquote good boy cousin and then, your son, like how much of a stretch was it for you to really channel that?
You're the first people I'm revealing this to, but my brother has said, oh, she's not acting. She's really like that.
I love it. And I was curious because again, I'm sitting there and as an Asian American watching this film going, yeah, I think, I wouldn't have to have my mom be scripted for this either. She could just go in and be disappointed over this or, hey, especially Joe, when she was like, calling you, hung up, and then it was like literally 5 minutes later and she's like, you didn't call me back. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so there. There with you. Yeah.
That's the genius. That's the genius of Lydia Gaston. Like the most important character was my mom, and one thing I highly stressed was my mom character is a very big part with my fan base, and I go, please, Lydia, crush it, and she not only crushed it, but she knocked it out of the park. There were scenes, I said this on the last interview, where I literally teared up and cried because she really embodied my mom, and it was just an amazing moment that we got to share together.
Yeah, I loved it. The dynamic was so special and real. It was very, very, very organic. So I could see that you guys had that thing going on, and I love that. Thank you, Lydia, for disclosing that to us. We'll call that an exclusive, actually. And that it definitely resonated that relationship was so real. The opening audition scene was also something like kind of a favorite of mine because of the whole, hey, can't you do it with a 50% accent? And then you were like, that was 50% accent because I'm American. And not to make this about me, but I'm actually writing a bill for Asian American history in school. And so that people can understand Asian Americans are American. And it was humorous, but there's so much truth in that. And I think the past few years, we've been seeing films stand on its own with the AAPI, mostly AAPI majority cast. And kudos to you all for adding another film to that list. And do you think that dynamic is finally changing? I know you kind of made fun of it in the beginning, but how much progress is really made and how much is left to go?
I mean, the best part of this story, this fairy tale Lydia and I are living right now, is the fact that this is the first all Asian cast. And not only that, it's the first all Filipino cast. That's produced by a major studio, and not only that, it's Steven Spielberg. So we got the GOAT with his hand on this project, and he was with it every step of the way. So from the auditioning process to the writing process to the actual selection of the director, who's also Asian, Jay Chandrasekhar, and this is just a beautiful moment that we should all celebrate and just realize that it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. Your story is just like our story. We're all just a family. We just happen to be Filipino. That's it.
Yeah.
True.
Definitely.
Lydia, did you want to comment on the representation and how important this is for not just the AAPI community, but for women as well, and seeing, authentic cultural moms on screen?
Yeah, I think it's very important, and also for older women actresses. We think that because most actresses my age are thinking of retiring. It's a young person's field, so it's great that there are these roles for us, and also representing Asian moms. It's really great, and it's not really about being a tiger mom. It's just being about this very concerned, worried mom who loves their son.
100%. It's a mom, and that's it. And not only that, Lydia Gaston is the star of this movie. She crushes this movie, and when it came to the end, the rap. I mean, we all gathered and just applauded so high and hard and cheered because Lydia was the anchor. She literally was. She was amazing. She crushed
And
this
she
movie.
really sang
Crushed
too.
this movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Very good note. You could sing.
Well, I know we have to wrap up, but I just want to say, for me, I'm just so grateful. So thank you for the representation, but also for entertaining, just having a really amazing, entertaining film that is centered around family. Can I get a quick screenshot of us? Just like a smiling one. All right, smile, mommy. Yay. Thank you both so much for your time. And I'm so glad my mom got to meet you because she loved your film.
It's so awesome. It's so nice talking to you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hope to see you again. Bye. That's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening to The Sifu Mimi Chan Show. Please subscribe and rate my podcast on your platform of choice and leave a review. You can become a patron of the show at patreon.com/SifuMimiChan to help keep this podcast going. Follow me and interact on social media at Sifu Mimi Chan on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook.